Well, hello and welcome to another segment of Let's Talk Strategies with Danette Moss. And joining me on this awesome show here today is the wonderful, what I consider fabulous, all the way from the UK, Miss Teecee Okore. And she is truly one that I know you guys are going to be excited to listen to because I've learned so much from her as well. And today we're going to be talking about lead gen, y'all. Our topic title is Mastering Lead Generation, Discover Lead Magnet Secrets, and just a little bit about who this fabulous lady is. Again, her name is Teecee Okore. She is a certified business launch and sales funnel strategist. Y'all know how I feel about that word strategist? She has well over 8 years of experience in business operations and management, and y'all, she's navigating this thing called motherhood. And you know how I am about that as a mother of five and a grandmother of five and two grand dogs. I believe that we as mothers, we do a lot of navigating, and Teecee is and has mastered that. She has two twin boys and she's all in that married life. She is consistent with sharing her wealth and knowledge and expertise in systems, funnels, and of course, automations, helping women build businesses that stand the test of time. I'm excited that she's here and cannot wait for her to begin to share what I know she's going to be giving. She's going to give that good that you know I love us having. She's going to give us what we need in order for us as women entrepreneurs to scale a sustainable business. Without further ado, let me stop all of this talking and just revving her up. I'm ready for her to come on so we can go ahead and get started and give you guys what it is that you came here for to get. Welcome, Teecee, to Let's Talk Strategies. How are you over in the UK today, lady?
I'm awesome. Okay, so yeah, it's been good here. God has been merciful, absolutely gracious. So yes, I'm thankful.
He is a merciful, gracious God, and that's what I love about him. And the fact that you came right on and stated that is extremely important to me as a purposepreneur, as a faith-based entrepreneur. It is something that I glean off of, and so I appreciate you for just even mentioning that right off. That God has been good. If you are following my show, you will know that I'm a faith-based entrepreneur, and although we get down to the practical pieces of business, I always bring him into my business. He is why I am who I am and why I do what I do. So it's just a true pleasure to have you here on the show. And I'm excited that you said that at the top of the show. But girl, you know I'm ready to get started. Because let me tell you, this topic on lead gen has been a topic that so many people have been struggling with. And when I kind of saw you out there on other platforms, the Mom Link and several other platforms, you were even live yesterday, and you talk everything, all things, systems, strategies, lead gen, lead magnet. I was like, I have to have her on Let's Talk Strategies. And I knew that this topic was going to be a topic that we needed to discuss because honestly, TC, so many of us struggle with it. You know, we get with, our salespeople, coaches who train us, people to tell us, all you just got to do is just go live. It's going to be okay. There's a method to this madness. And we know that it's more than that. And I've watched you master that and have learned some things from you. So I want to ask you some questions here. I've got several, just so you know. But I'm a conversationalist, so we're going to flow with it. But my first question for you is, can you tell us about your journey, TC, your journey in mastering lead generation and why you consider that lead gen is possibly the most vital part of your business today?
So first things first, there was no way I was ever going to be across board and have clients staying present in the lives of my kids without necessarily, connecting with the people I want to work with. I keep telling people that, you see, my ideal client, like literally when I break down my ideal client to you, you'll be shocked as to, like, TC, seriously, why that kind of, why those set of people? And that is because I was able to understand and I accept for myself, my reality, right? Lead gen for me is very personal because at the end of the day, you want to be able to figure out who you want to work with, why you want to work with them, and how you can, stay connected with them, right? How can you connect to them? How can you attract them? How can you get them to know you, trust you, and, get them to be able to buy from you? Now, that is huge. And I realized that for me to be able to have a successful business, a business that literally brings in money and, stand the test of time, I need that pipeline. Like, I literally need to create a process that will keep bringing these people my space because literally I have these boys on my neck, so many things, life on its own. So I can't always be all over the place trying to look for that particular client. So how do I do this? Now, the truth is, one thing I always say to people is when I talk about something, I talk about it because I have first done it for myself, right? And because I have done it for myself successfully, I can tell you I can do it for you. Now, if I haven't tried it for myself, hell no, I'm not literally going to do it for you because I don't even know if it's ever going to work, right? And so I think that's for me is the journey with understanding and mastering lead generation because I had to do it for myself, right? I had to connect and attract the people that I wanted to work with, I want to connect with, right? It really does not matter to me. I tell so many people that I stay across board, right? But 85% to 90% of my clients, right, are basically in the US, right? And so many people are like, how, why, how do, like, literally if you go through my social media space, you would see that, a major part of the people following me are in this demographic, and it was all intentional, right? And so it's a process for me, and I tell you, it was an intentional journey which I'm grateful that I was able to master. And it only gets better, it only gets better.
Well, to do things purposeful is key to me, in my opinion. When you do things with purpose, on purpose, you find that things kind of move more with ease. And the fact that you made the decision to work with people on the other side of the pond, as they would say, as opposed to where you are. But if you're just watching us now, not knowing, TC is located over in the UK. Yet she puts a lot of time, a lot of energy into us here on the state side in the US. I mean, I'm sure it's a total different. What time is it over there now?
It's 5:23.
See, it's 12:23. It's a little afternoon here, Eastern time in the US in the metropolitan Atlanta area. And what she's telling you is that in everything that we do when it comes to lead generation, we'll get into lead magnet in a minute. These things really matter. You have to, in my opinion, in everything that we do, you first have to start with a plan, right? So write the vision, make it plain so them that see it can run with it. You all will hear me talk about that all the time on all of my shows. Okay. You've got to really set out a plan, and having your area of focus when it comes to lead generation and lead magnet, it's going to be truly extremely vitally important to know who it is that you're trying to talk to, who you're trying to reach, because when you know this, you know what you need to what? Schedule out, plan, create, surveys, all these key things that you're going to have to do in order to have the success that we know that you really truly want to have. Now, TC, on that note, so many people hear the terms lead generation and lead magnet. Can you break down and give us a small little, um, I guess, a little insight of the difference between the two?
Yeah, I love that you asked that question because That is a very important question. And I think that there has been like a misconception, right, when it comes down to these two concepts. I call that concept because your lead magnet is a tool. Okay. Now your lead generation is a process, right? How you get your ideal client, how you even figure out who your ideal client is, you get to connect with them, you get to attract them, then you bring them to your space, right? Now that's your lead generation. Now your lead magnet is what you use. So let me give you an example. So you see all of those things that you see, like maybe on Instagram, and they say, get 10 secrets to building seven figures in 10 days. Now that's so unrealistic, but we all see this thing, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get the secret. 10 things to, get that seven figures in, and you're like so excited. And so you click, you fill out your details, right? And then boom, you get like a checklist or a PDF. Now that is their lead magnet, right? So that's just the simple difference. This is a tool, the other is a process.
See, I love that you broke that down because there's a big difference between tools and processes, and so many people get confused from it. When I tell people that I'm Danette Moss, business systems and implementation strategist, when I used to say business strategist, but I like to put systems in front of it because I like to take a systematic approach in everything that I do. And I tell people, even as a strategist, we let's talk strategies. There's a process to this thing. It's not just an automatic. And depending on where you use the word system at, right, or SaaS, right, people automatically go to the tool right off. They never think about the process, the step-by-step approach that you have to put in place, and that the tool is the added benefit, that thing that you can connect and make things work. So I appreciate you for breaking that down the way that you did for clarity purposes, because so many people get confused when we because I met you out on Clubhouse, and then graduated over with you over to the Mom Link community, and we've just been kind of tied to the hip ever since, because you're stuck with me, lady, right? You're stuck. But when I think about all the things that I was doing as I went out to Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these different places, I had to sit still and think more of, when I'm speaking to people, if I'm on stage talking to people, wherever I am, and I'm trying to engage, right, with that particular clientele or person or persons, what is it that I can give them, that I can take and move them from those environments to where I need them to be, so that I can continue to build a relationship, nurture the relationship, and so forth. This is where I decided at that one time, and I've got several different ones, and we'll talk about that as well, the importance of a lead magnet, right? As a business strategist, the strategy lady, I talk a whole lot with people about identifying their business activities. If you don't identify your business activity, there's no way that you can clearly create a great lead magnet, because you don't know what it is you're dealing with. And you hadn't identified your person or persons that you're helping. You can't create with clarity. So those things you have to do. So my first lead magnet for Clubhouse was giving them a workbook on identifying your business activities. So when they clicked on it, what happened next, TC? They click on it. They give me something, I give them something, right? They give me their email address, their name, their phone number, hopefully a good phone number, so that I can do what? Begin to nurture them via text, right? There's so many different ways that we can go about this, but they give me something of value, their email address, and I give them something of value. Having a lead magnet to me is so important, but it lends right into the lead gen piece, right? All of these different elements. So I truly appreciate you on that note for kind of, separating the two, and speaking to the difference in both of those. So TC, let me ask you, in your opinion, What are the core elements that make up a great lead magnet? Well, hopefully I didn't lose you. She's over in the UK. If you're there, TC, let us know. What are the core elements that make a lead magnet? And what are the core elements that make a lead magnet effective? I guess that's more or less the question that I have on the table for you. Well, it looks like we lost her. She should be back here shortly. We'll get those core elements up from her soon. Or, what I can do is I can speak to you all from that space as well if need be. We are speaking on our topic of discussion here is all about lead magnets. I'm going to bring you back up, TC. Awesome. Can you hear me, darling?
Perfectly.
Awesome, awesome. I was just getting ready to go in, but I wanted you to come on in because I know you are the queen of this as well. I was asking you, what are the core elements of a lead magnet? What are the core elements that make a lead magnet, I guess for the most part, effective?
Okay. So so the first thing actually, because I think where we miss it, right, is understanding that your lead magnet should be unique to you and your goals and what you want to achieve. Now, for me, I would say the first element, first, right, is understanding what you want your lead magnet to do for you,
Okay.
right? Now, understand who you want this lead magnet for. Who's going to use the lead magnet? Who do you
Mhm.
want to attract with lead magnet? Who are you designing and creating this lead magnet for?
Okay.
Right now, once you're able to get all of that check, now you want to decide how, like, how do they want, what's the best way for them to consume it, right? Now, it's important that you also figure out when creating your lead magnet, when we talk about the how doesn't only stop at, how do these people get it? The how also includes, after they get it, what next?
Mhm. Wow.
Right? Because I feel like most times it's not about collecting the data or the information, it's what happens next.
You just hit so many good key points here because, at the very beginning, you led out with some things. And to me, it spoke directly to value proposition, right? The lead magnet should be, again, clear. It needs to be tangible, meaning it is of value to that target audience. And it can be what I consider my lead magnets definitely need to be useful. You can make them where they can be lead magnets that are free. They can be lead magnets that are paid for, but they need to be clear. You need to clearly understand right off the rip what it's going to do, who it's going to help, right? And you need to know why you put that lead magnet out there so that you can be able to serve the right way. It should solve a problem in a nutshell. So
you,
that
you
value
know
proposition is key. Go ahead.
I always say that your lead magnet is necessarily not free, right? You know why?
Love it.
I know. I had to bring that up. You know why? Because I think it's the mentality behind, when not as experts, but entrepreneurs, see, oh, this lead magnet, hey, what, I'm supposed to give it out free. And so you downplay the value, forgetting, right, that these lead magnets are literally like the first impression your ideal clients have about you and how they can work with you,
True.
right? And so I would always say, yes, as experts, we can say freebies, all of that. But As entrepreneurs, you're starting off with the whole lead generation. Please have the mindset that, your lead magnet is complementary because you're getting something in return.
That's
And
it.
so you want to put value. It's very important. I love how you made mention of that. You want to put value, like fill it up with value,
That's it. It's
right?
simple.
Now, you want to put that into consideration. So I wanted to just point that.
Well, it has to be, because it has to be a value and it needs to be what? Relevant to whatever it is that you're doing in business, whether it's for a product or service. You can be a product oriented business or a service oriented business. That lead magnet needs to be aligned with your services. I've seen so many people. It's just like watching people on social media. They come up and see, I'm not one of those dancers. Sometimes I'll do little silly stuff if I feel like it's me, right? But if it doesn't speak to my services or if it doesn't speak to who I am, you won't catch me doing it. Because if I can't feel the relevance, I clearly can't see the relevance, right? So, value proposition, and it needs to be relevant to that target audience's interests and their needs. And I also believe that when we think about the core elements of lead magnets, is that it really truly should give immediate gratification. It should be something that is going to help you in your business right away, right? Whether you decide to implement it or not, TC, I truly believe it's something that is truly should be relevant, that people will engage with, and you can, really, really outline the benefits and they can clearly see the benefits right off. If it's not, if it's not immediate gratification, why would I want to give you my email address? Why would I want to give you my phone number? People, and this thing about, oh, sign up for my newsletter. Now, I'm not against people in newsletters. Okay. I believe that they play a role. I even have one and I'm trying to really leverage it out there on LinkedIn a lot more. But it needs to give still some immediate gratification. Oftentimes you will find newsletters that are just kind of just as fillers. And man, I'm giving you my email address for what? No, I can come and look at you. I can go on YouTube. I can find all of that out. So, in my opinion, it needs to be, like I said, definite immediate gratification. And what do you think about the call to actions as it pertains to this? Because a lot of people tend to give you things and they don't have call to actions. I used to be guilty of that with my lead magnets. Talk to us about that.
So you built an amazing product, right? Super amazing product, and then you push it out, and then I'm looking at you, Mr. Net is looking at you, like everyone is looking at you, like what do you want us to do? Tell me. So many of the time we assume that people know what to do. Now, even if they do, we want you to tell us what you want us to do. Because that way we're able to take the steps necessary to to maybe get the solution we are looking out for, or even give you what you want. So when it comes down to call to action, it's important that your call to action is simple, straight to the point. So don't try to act smart by trying to use funny words. Like literally tell them what you want them to do. Simple.
That's
I
it.
see so many people, I see so many people say very interesting things, and I'm like, okay, now you got me confused. What exactly do you want me to do? Go back or go forward or stay in the middle? Where do you want me to go to? So it's important that with your call to action, I know so many of the time, your social media post can be a very good lead magnet if you know how to create your content the right way. And I
That's right.
tell you, so many of the time you see social amazing content that do not have a call to action. Like what do you want them to do? So
That's
for
it.
you to get, that for you to get the conversion that you need from your lead magnet, your call to action is key. And there are strategic places you need to put your call to action. Like when I say strategic, I mean strategic because you want to tell them, from this space to this space, do this. Okay, so when I get there, TC, what do I do next? Now take this step. Okay, TC, I'm here now. What do I do next? Okay, go this step. Right? So you want to direct your ideal client as to what you need them to do. Don't assume, please. We will definitely get it wrong.
I love that you even included and mentioned social media, because people don't realize that your social media post is a lead magnet, and that every post that you have, everything you do should have a call to action in it, even if it's something as simple as, tell us what you feel down in the comment section. Sometimes people feel like, I got to do something different. I don't need it to be just business, business, business. Like, I just turned 55 on Sunday on Father's Day. I have an identical twin sister. I purposely shared some things because I wanted you to see the natural, the human side of Danette, the strategy lady, right? Putting certain things in there would just kind of let you know I'm either telling a story, but sometimes even in that, we can forget to put a call to action in there. What are you thinking about that? Or give us your thoughts, or share this, or click the link in my bio. And I know these are kind of bare bone basic ones, and some of them people say are not the best ones, but you got to tell people, as Teecee just said, you've got to tell people exactly what it is you want them to do. That lead magnet should have a clear next step guide that does what? It leads them towards further engagement, because that's what it's all about. Further engagement with your business, further engagement with your personal life, if that's what you're doing. So it can be, anything that deals with a, click this link to set up a demo or a sales call, or something that deals with another piece of content, or the six-figure female CEO program, leading somewhere. It needs to be clear and, concise. Not, you don't need to be all over the place trying to figure this thing out. You'll find yourself stuck and frustrated. So, I'm always excited about, just clarity, because for me, as a business systems strategist, and as I deal with implementation and all of that, the first element that I find that most people are struggling with, one, is clarity. If you're struggling with clarity there, we can't graduate to the next phase. That lead magnet is going to be just broken. It's not going to work. So many people, oh, what do I need to do? When I created that, but how does that line up with your next event? How does that line up with your next workshop, your master class, are you using it to what? Build your list. What is it there for? Why are you doing it? When you understand the who, what, when, where, and why, and why you really truly want to do it, and how it's going to benefit not just you, but that clientele, you can create one, to me, I think, a lot more better, and it's smoother, and the call to actions will line up. All of my posts, generally speaking, I do have some that, yeah, I see in there sometimes if life happens, lifing, but a lot of times I can go back in and, fix it. If no one's really paying it, really, if I didn't get much volume in it, I can go in and do different things that will draw certain things to it. I know that the first touch point is important, but if no one's touched it for hours and you go in, you can go in and adjust and do some things that may wake that up. This is why people repost, good posts, which operate as a great lead magnet. And oftentimes it's just making small adjustments. And that one small adjustment can be the biggest adjustment, which is the bomb.com call to action on that lead magnet. What you say about that one, girl?
Absolutely. 100%. I totally agree. 100%. You're so right.
So TC, how does how does one go about selecting a a lead magnet that not only attracts the leads, but also successfully sells an offer?
I love that question because I think I get that a whole lot. But you see, we talked about value. We talked about value. We talked about understanding, what your ideal client wants. We talked about being clear, being concise, and all of that. But you see, for you to be able to pick or choose the right lead magnets that would get you those sales, that would get you these leads. You want to find out what exactly, like right now, what is relevant enough to give that solution to your ideal client, like immediate solution, because that's what your lead magnet is, like immediate solution. It's solution oriented. So you want to find out, what do my ideal client want right now? What would trigger them to look and say, oh yeah, that's true, I need this, grab it. Now that is what you want to use. But remember, your lead magnet is not the full definition of the solution, right? It's a bait, it's a tip, right? A bait, a tip of the iceberg to tell them, hey, Lord, I know what you want. This is a glimpse of what you want. Take it and find out more.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm just sitting here smiling because we kind of led into that on the last question where, I kind of spoke about, the core of a lead magnet. And, I mentioned that it should be closely related to your core product or service. This way people are interested, right? And you kind of lead them down a path of your offering as well. So for example, when I think about it, I've got two. I've got one ergonomics person and one other fitness person that's under my other actual tool that I use in my business, digital CEO systems. And over there, I work with them with some core things to help them with their business to take their life and business to the next level. And when I think about fitness, and I work with them on showing up online, their landing pages, sales pages, whatever it is that we're speaking on, I get with them in the sense of, okay, so you sell fitness services or you sell fitness equipment. A good lead magnet for you could be something as simple as um, a 7-day home workout plan, right? This not only attracts people's interest in fitness, but it also indirectly promotes the product, right? So with digital CEO systems, I work with them on, hey, you need a CRM, you need a good landing page, and inside of that good landing page or CRM, the things that they would need in order to be visible online as a business owner, I work with them on knowing that, yes, you need all these key things, right? But there's an end goal in mind. It's still indirectly pointing to something else. So if you are that example I was giving when we got disconnected there, TC, if you're a health coach or you're selling a fitness equipment, right? A lead magnet could be a 7-day home workout plan. But this is not only, it not only attracts that, that the people that are interested in fitness, it also indirectly promotes a product, right? So I can talk to people as digital CEO systems. Let's talk strategies. We talk strategies. We talk systems. I help you put your business on rinse and repeat instead of stop and start, right? So I'm speaking about those things. A 12-week cohort program, right? Is a service, right? That I'm providing with you that will help you put your business on rinse and repeat instead of stop and start. Once we get all these things set up, there's an end result. There's something else that I'm taking you to. Now I can promote to you a product, a software, a tool that I can sit you on that will help you do all of those things that I just work you through and talk you through. So you need to align those lead magnets with that. And so I like that part. And then you know what else
Right.
though, TC? In the answer of that question, when it comes to selecting a lead magnet that not only attracts, but successfully sells your offer, I really truly think, and a lot of people are trying to get away from it. I think there's a method to the madness in it. I really believe that you need to have identified your customers' pain points. And I know it may seem like this is old, but it's real. If you don't know what they're struggling with, now you're just throwing mud up against the wall, expecting for it to stick when you're creating something. And if you hadn't identified it, how you gonna create a lead magnet that will address their problems, their potential, or the potential issues that the customers are facing? Now, and a lot of people don't like to speak to pain points because they look at them as negative, but you can speak to it in a beneficial way, right? What's your take on that?
100% correct. So this is what I think about that, right? How do you want to attract people when you're not solving a problem for them? Now, the only way people want to listen to you is not because you have a cute face. It's really because you have what they need. You have what they want. And that's what they're about. I, I'm more concerned about what do you have for me, right? What do I gain? Like, okay, so what next? And I love the parts where you talked about, making sure that whatever value, because yes, you want to create valuable, relevant, time conscious resource that would give them immediate solution. However, you want to also make sure that whatever you're giving to them has something to do with what you want them to do, which is your product, your service. Don't just go blindfoldedly, because remember, your lead magnet is meant to do a certain work for you. It's not meant to just get a bunch of people in your space and make them smile at you.
No.
It's basically meant to get you sales. It's basically meant to sell something for you. Now, don't go creating. For example, you talked about your cohort program, right? You don't want to, if you're like Miss Denise's space, you have like a program, a coaching program, maybe wellness coaching program about weight loss, for example. Don't go talking about diabetes when the program is really all about weight loss,
Yes.
unless there is a section of the entire program that says this is what is going to solve, right? So it should, because the truth is, like I said, it's a bait. Your lead magnet is a bait.
Uh-huh.
So it's a bait to what they should expect in the real products, right? So it's a like, hey, you know what? This is just the beginning. Find out more.
Well,
Okay,
you
so
know,
I love. I love what you said. Yes, so spot on. I love it.
it's all about that lead magnet is not only to attract the leads, as you mentioned, but it's also it should be so you can successfully sell your offer. And you know what? That involves careful planning and strategizing. This is why I talk about let's talk strategies. The planning, write the vision and make it plain. When you carefully plan and you can begin to strategize because the old fashioned brain dump, get what's in your head out of your head down on paper. Now you can see it. Now you can begin to move things around. You can see if I need to keep it, pause it, delegate it, scrap it. But that's a part of planning. So now that I look at it, now I can begin to take a strategic approach in what it is I'm going to do that will make me take action, aka implement, y'all. Okay. Because if you're not implementing and you're just out here talking, and here's the reality, you have to take a deep breath and be okay with the fact that sometimes you may put things out there and you don't get a bite. Look at it as a test, right? What did I speak the wrong words? Did I speak to the right people? Am I in the right environment? If you feel like this particular magnet is the bomb.com, test it out for a while. Just because no one did anything in one day or one week, that does not necessarily mean it was bad. You've got to keep it out there for a minute and, kind of, go get into different environments, speak the verbiage, pull people back to you. I had to learn that, because TC in the very beginning, years and years and years ago, I was, was like squirrel hopping over here. This didn't work. Oh, let me go over here. Oh, this is, and just hopping all around. I never gave things a chance. But when I firmly looked at making sure that it aligned with my product, aligned with my services, that I had identified at least 1 to 3 pain points, for my customers that can help them, it allowed me to be able to have the stick to itness, the tenacity through the thing. And then it also positioned me to better educate them content wise. So I may have this lead magnet, but then from that lead magnet, now I was able to create other things out of that lead magnet to put on social media and all those different things to draw people to it. Even something as simple as I see that you do a lot of kind of surveys or testimonies or online case studies, right? You kind of do a lot of different things because you're getting the information from the people. You're not sitting there trying to figure it out. You're asking, pardon me, you're asking them what it is that they need and what they want. There's no need for us to focus on what we think they need. Now, yes, that plays a major role in it because we know what they need as specialists and strategists and as the expert in our arena. But the other key thing is we may think they want this, but they may need something else, right? I was working with what do you call it? Um, New women in business for a very long time, and they weren't ready where I was, to where I needed them to go. So I found that, okay, you are speaking to the wrong audience. You need to speak more with the established woman in business. Maybe she's been in business 2 to 5 years. Now, that doesn't mean I can't work with the startup person, but oftentimes they don't understand their steps you have to take. That woman who's established, she's been there long enough to know, uh-oh, I keep stopping and starting. Oh, I got to backtrack. Yeah, we need to plan, ahead and backwards plan, but there's still certain key elements that you need to have. I've even had people say, well, I'm new in business or this project is new. Do I need to do XYZ? Do I need a system for that? Yeah, there's a process, there's a system, and generally speaking, the established person would understand that most, more importantly than the one who's a startup. So I had to look at that, for my lead magnets, who I was speaking to, who is this for, so that I can create it, the right way and operate accordingly, and not have myself feeling like, oh my God, nobody's receiving this. What am I doing wrong? And it wasn't necessarily that my lead magnet was a bad lead magnet. It was that I was speaking to the wrong crowd. I was addressing the wrong crowd. Let's talk about that. Let's kind of dive into that a bit. When we think about the lead gen or lead magnet piece of it, how can a lead magnet achieve a dual role in the sense of who it is we should be speaking to or not speaking to? How would you address that, or is that something you think we should deal with when it comes to lead magnets or lead gen, TC?
If I'm getting your question right, you mean qualifying your audience and qualifying your leads, right?
Hmm.
So your lead magnet plays, so many roles aside from just getting you the leads, getting you the sales. It also acts as a qualifier.
Okay.
That's why I always say this, your lead magnets can be complimentary, it can be paid, right? Now, you want to, as much as possible, understand first who you want to give this lead magnet to, right? Now, once you do that, okay, this particular lead magnet helps you in qualifying your audience, because not everybody, so for example, just giving an example, right? You have a high ticket, right? A high ticket offer you want to sell.
Hmm.
Trust me, you're not going to use a complimentary lead magnet to sell a high ticket offer. No, that's not going to work, right? So, what you want to do is create a lead magnet that qualifies, that literally separates. So, you're not sending out the rest of the people. What you're doing is trying to figure out where they are in your pipeline. You're trying to figure out what they are in your funnel, right? You're trying to figure out what they are in their business so that you're able to speak to them, right? So now, once you create this particular lead magnet, what this is going to help you do is say, okay, you know what? These people go towards this next step. That means this is where they are. Now, if they do not tap into this particular lead magnet, that means they're in this space, right? Now, you can create something else, another resource that will speak to them. So there's so much more that goes behind setting up your lead magnets, right? Which is why it's very essential. Sometimes some people would say, I don't think I need a lead magnet, right? Or I already have. No. Your lead magnet also helps you in qualifying your leads. Like you have an existing lead, you can separate high ticket clients from your huge sum of clients, right? Your huge sum of customers. You might have, so many people raving about your coaching program, but not everyone in your coaching program is interested in your intensive, is interested in your one-on-ones, right? So you want to create something that would separate these people, right? So that you're able to see clearly where these particular people are in their, business or what they have going on, and then take that next step with them. I hope
You,
that answers the question.
and I love that you mentioned that. When I think about what you're saying, that qualifying piece, think about back in the day, companies like Netflix and Spotify. The first thing they did was they attracted their leads and they sold an offer at the same time, right? So they gave you a 30-day free trial. Digital CEO systems, I give you a 14-day free trial. I'm qualifying. I'm trying to see a tire kicker or someone who's there for the long haul that I can help you get to where you need to go. I love that. It's a big qualifying piece for you to see. And, the reality is you need to be fine with qualifying, because who wants to work with people that's just going to just give you a headache? That's going to be a headache. I don't personally want to. I've got some clients that kind of strain me a bit, and had you qualified them properly, that takes away a lot of weight. We cannot get so fixated on the fact that we need the money, 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 right? That's that scarcity mindset that we don't qualify well, because some clients are just not worth the headache. And so I can imagine, with your Netflix and your Spotifyers, 30-day free trial. And, you get this, and some people forget to disconnect. So they're being charged no matter what all the time. So I'm sure that's part of their sales piece, knowing that some people are going to forget. But then you have others that hadn't had a chance to use it. They're going to pick up the phone. So now they got a sales team on the back end that they can talk to, because you're still in qualifying phase. It's still a pipeline type situation where you see where people are properly fit, right? And you're vetting, whether or not they're the best fit for you. And now they actually get a chance to see if you're the best fit for them as well. To me, it's a true successful way when you think up front. When you address up front that qualifying is extremely important. If you don't qualify, again, you're throwing mud up against the wall expecting for it to stick. To me, that's addressing the big elephant in the room. If you don't qualify people, then there's one thing that's missing for sure. And the key reason as to why we have lead magnets, or, lead generation systems set up in our business, is to sell, right? We got to make money. We're in business to make money. And if we're not addressing that big elephant in a room, then it's all null and void. It's all null and void. So, TC, as we begin to wrap things up, I do want to kind of touch base on, as it pertains to lead generation and lead magnets. I don't want to forget about our newbies, our startups, right? For businesses starting from scratch with no existing lead magnets, what are your top recommendations for creating their first one? Because I know we kind of went in and we went high, mid range, and all of that, but for our newbies, what's your top recommendation for creating their first one? I know you mentioned earlier, don't make this thing complicated, but any thoughts? Oh, it looks like we got the UK is over there bothering us again. Well, all right. While we wait for her to come back and answer that, I can kind of give my tidbits on it. If you're, oh, you there, TC? Great. I see you moving a little bit. Let me know when you get back here. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my thoughts on, for newbies and even for people that have been in business for a while. When you're creating a lead magnet from scratch, it can really be an exciting process. And I believe, the tips that I was going to have TC share, I'm sure she would agree that the number one piece as you begin to create your lead magnet from scratch is one, you need to definitely understand your audience. Of course, start by identifying the target audience and understanding their needs, the pain points, the interests. We kind of talked about all of that. And the more specific you can be about who you're trying to attract, the better you can tailor that lead magnet to meet their needs. That's the one thing that I think you could do, as a recommendation. Also, we think about, we mentioned earlier, aligning your product with the service, and then making sure that that product that you are aligning that with the product or service, that it definitely solves a problem. And most importantly, we want to make sure that you can make sure that this lead magnet that you're developing or designing from scratch, it needs to be accessible. So many people make you hop through so many hoops to get this freebie. I don't want it at that point. Okay, I got to click this. Then it has to go to my email. Then I got to double opt in and all that. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe in opt ins because at least I know that you said you wanted to be in this and you're not marking me as a spammer. But quite often, there's so many extra unnecessary steps, in my opinion, TC, that people make you go through when you're trying to get this lead magnet. And when you're new in the game or when you're old in the game, you're creating something from scratch. I think one of the major things is don't make it hard. Don't make it hard for me to get. If you're trying to, get me on your list, don't shoot yourself in the foot right out the gate, because I gotta practically give you my first child and my fifth child and my left and my right leg, right, in order to get this thing. What's your thoughts on what I've shared thus far, TC? I asked you before, the UK internet gods decided to take you away from me and then bring me back. My question for you was for businesses starting from scratch with no existing lead magnet. What are your top recommendations for creating their first one? I mean, even something as what type of lead magnet you think they should possibly consider creating.
Okay, so depending on where your lead generation channel, right, is, what kind of lead generation channel you're using. So
Hmm.
you see, there are different types of lead magnets. That's the truth. Um, like I made mention of your social media posts. You can start by using your social media post as a lead generation, as a lead magnet, right? However, you want to start by creating something simple. I think that there is one thing that I see so many people do. You're like it's a lead magnet. Like you mentioned, don't make it difficult. You want to, as much as possible, you know, not have. I see like the lead magnets having like very long forms, like you have like all of these pages, go here and all of the information, and tired. I'm tired. I'm like, how far do you want me literally to go before I finally get to click?
I got to work out before I can even get it.
Right? And then you see like this very long landing page. Trust me, what you need is a lead capture landing page. And your lead capture landing page is simple, right? Some, beautifully designed short lead capture, like straight to the point. Your headline, what they're going to learn, what is next to them, how to get it.
Straight to the point. Not all over the place. Not
Trust me,
overcomplicating it.
you will be amazed as to how much people are like click, 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 because it's easy to access.
That's right.
Before, I need you to know this, right? If you're watching this, you're listening to this, before I decide to tap into your lead magnet, I already have interest. And so it's a lead magnet. You're not asking me for my money Please don't tell me so many stories. I don't want it. I just want the lead magnet. Give it to me, okay? So I'm just gonna pause there.
Yeah, yeah. There was something about that, right? That you saw right off that made me even want to consider the lead magnet. So give it to me. Stop making me work so hard at it. TC girl, look, I mean, look at the time. Funny how time flies when we're having fun. I'm just sitting here thinking about all the things that we talked about as it pertains to a lead magnet, the importance of having one, understanding the difference between lead generation and lead magnet. There's so much that we can talk about, on this topic. But I believe the key thing that I would like to leave them with when it comes to creating a lead magnet, one, that we don't overcomplicate it. Secondly, that we don't make it hard for them to get. Give them what they came for. And I mean, you sold them. They got to that page some kind of way. So that being said, you need to have a good landing page, solid, clean, not a whole bunch of stuff that has makes me have to peel back the onion layer so much just to get to it. So that way you can go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. You can begin to engage with that particular customer, and you can begin to nurture them on and off. And what will that do? In the end, it's going to lead to some sales, because that's what it's all about. Let's just be real. Let's not try to, if that's a word, placate. I don't know if it's a word or not. Let's not play the game, right? It is what it is. People know when they land on certain things and they click on certain things, they know you want to sell. Either you're trying to get them into you to purchase a product or be a part of your service. Don't play the game with it. Just be real about it, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Make it accessible. Make sure that it speaks to their pain point. And if you're a person that doesn't like to lead from the negative piece, make sure it speaks to the benefit of the customer, right? That is going to lead them somewhere down a line of the end result as success. That's where we want them to go. And that's what it's all about. And this is why I show up here every week on Let's Talk Strategies with me, Danette Moss, and I bring people such as your TCs. And if I don't have a guest speaker, it'll just be me giving you the necessary tools and tips on what it is that you need to succeed in business. I'm all about helping you. And for the most part, preferably, I enjoy working with those women in business, whether they're coaches, consultants, so service providers. I generally like to work with women that are overwhelmed because I can spot you all day long because that was who I was for a very long time. And sometimes I may fall off the bandwagon, but I tell you this, I know where to go get it fixed. And so here on Let's Talk Strategies, my goal on a weekly base is to give you what it is that you need. One, to have the checkup from the neck up in your business. Two, to take your business from overwhelm to putting it on rinse and repeat. I help you get your SaaS on in your business. In my world, SaaS stands for simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline your business. And for those things that I'm not very good at, I go and I go get it. And even if I'm good at it, I'd like to have a different perspective. See, I'm a conversationalist. And so this is why TC is here with me today. So if you are interested in staying connected with me and finding out more about me, you can check me out over at Let's Talk Strategies. TC, how can we have them connect with you? And what's next for you, darling?
Okay, so I will be officially launching. I already had a test for it that had 10 clients come out of it. But officially, I will be pushing out the my offer monetization bootcamp coming up in August. But tapping, right? I have amazing resources. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on Instagram. You can't miss the face and the name TC. So on Instagram is tc.obm. On LinkedIn is TC Okore. So yeah, connect with me. I'm happy to, get you whatever you need. Yeah, that's really it for me. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, Miss Teecee Okore, I am excited to always be in your presence because I always stand to learn something from it. And I know that my audience have learned something that they can take right now and utilize in their business. It has truly been an honor for you joining me. And I can't wait to connect with you further and to have you back here one day or have you involved in one of my master classes so we can help them continue this journey of lead generation and lead magnet. This is Danette Moss, your business systems and implementation strategist. And I hang out over a place called Let's Talk Strategies, where I work with you to go from overwhelmed to simplifying, automating, systematizing, and streamlining your business. Thanks so much for joining me here on the E360 TV channel, as well as the Limelight Network, where you will find us and you can get to us on Roku, YouTube. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can find me everywhere. Make sure that you join us here every day. Well, Tuesdays, pardon me, at noon Eastern time. And we do have some other special times that we pop in. Thanks for joining. And we are looking forward to helping you put your business on rinse and repeat. This is Danette, the strategy lady. Take care.